Well, I think too, when we look at the movements from the coaches, this is another point I made. I think the playoffs is when you see which manager makes the right decisions. And it's tough. That is a tough decision to make. And I think when Hal went down, clearly rolled her ankle. Oh, my ankle hurt watching that. Clearly rolled her ankle, in tears, spirits down a player for a few minutes. You see Gotham gaining momentum. And Hal, I think, had a good game. She was tackling people. She was aggressive. She was making statement movements. McCall, I know you love that.
Love it.
Making statement tackles, like kind of injecting fear into Gotham. If she's running at you, she is going to wipe you out. She's going to get the ball, but you're going with it. And
they needed more of that. She was alone.
They needed more of it. But when she came out and Gotham started to gain momentum, she comes back in. They sub Lily Real because she's on a yellow. Arguably could have gotten a second yellow. Juan went, boom, coming out.
Yeah.
Brings in Bruninha.
He's like, she's lawless. Get her out. Get her out.
But to me, when I thought he's bringing Bruninha, Gotham's going to be more aggressive.
Smart.
They're going to be more aggressive. She's going to be up high. She's incredibly right-footed.
And she did. She took a very advanced position when she came into the game.
She wasn't playing left back. She was like a wing back.
Spirit also just weren't getting anything on the wings. And so it's like you look at the timing in which the coaches had the window to make their moves. And you can't help but know which coach made his correctly. And it was a smart decision to have a player for player, positional for positional move like that. And understanding that maybe some of the plot could eventually get lost. Because in that second half, both teams are trying to ball out more at this point, right? You're trying to make the most of your opportunities. And Lily Real, maybe in her first championship final, feeling the heat of and the lights of that moment, right? But your coach, you're on the sidelines, you're like, I know what we could do here because we planned for this. They planned for it.
Yeah.
You can't look at it and say otherwise. They mapped it out. They were like, this game, we're going to try our damnedest to sustain and suffocate. And they that organized chaos. And they did it. But in this stretch where we feel like it might be getting away from us, this is what we're going to do. And they did it. And they executed it. Everybody understood the assignment and executed it.
Even small things in the preparation, like watching film or whatever, it seems like, and this is how you exercise yourself as being an aggressor as well. Did Gotham discuss that Aubrey was way off her line all the time for the majority of the game? The amount of times that they tried to chip her was like, they discussed, pick up your head if you pick up the ball in the midfield and just chip it over her, like make her scared, put them under pressure. Again, being that aggressor, being that coming with ideas from your coaching staff, from watching film, from picking out areas that you can exploit them. And that all has to do with little details for having an edge in a championship game.
Yeah. Well, what I love too is when Bruninha comes in, Szczepanski sends this beautiful ball. You see Spirit trying to press.
That girl balled.
Bruninha is so high. She's so high. Szczepanski, both-footed, gets her head up, has a touch that sets her back, plays. Guys, for those listening, a long ball, a pristine, McCall, you can speak on this, is so difficult. Right in her stride, Bruninha has a great touch, driving at her defender towards the goal. So Esme Morgan has to step back, frame the goal. 3 scissors. Esme Morgan's feet get caught up. You see Lacey Santos run over, trying to double cover. Hal's at the top of the 18. And this is where I think the coaching, I said it on broadcast, I think the coaching, this decision to not sub Hal.
Pain.
Kind of killed this moment for them. Bruninha cuts it across the 18. Hal lunges. You see it look ginger. And Rose Lavelle comes up late through traffic, hits the perfect kiss of a shot, low far post.
Pain.
Scenes. Eruption. Vibe meter off the charts.
Girl, even to leave a player off the pitch for almost 5 minutes and let your team suffer with 10 men in the last 15 minutes of a championship match doesn't make anybody on that field feel good for your team. Like,
that's where to me, it was the coaching.
It's the coaching. I mean, what's wrong with Narumi? What's wrong with Narumi? You don't think Narumi can come in and play 15 minutes? Love Hal. She's such a good player. There's nothing like her. But maybe Narumi would have brought a little something different where she put a little bit of pressure on Gotham or moved into, because she's brilliant. She's very smart, moved into spaces that made Gotham think and put them on their heels for a little bit. Hal is sits in front, wins balls. Great. But Narumi could have offset and shifted Gotham a little bit, and maybe they could have grabbed a little control of the game. Like if the girl can't go, she's obviously hobbling in pain. You're also putting her at risk for further injury. Who knows? But you're letting your team down with that decision as a coach, in my opinion.
That's what you have to do in those positions. You're hired to make those calls, and I mean that's a great shout for excuse me, Narumi. But it again, it also even looked like on the sideline. I mean, Darian, you were at the desk. I was looking at the press box. Like Abiodun had been warming up. So there was this sort of like for like, and maybe in the moment you're writing the trends of your season, and Abiodun has been on a little bit of an upward swing for the Spirit. So maybe that's your game plan. You're like, we're going to go with the hot player in the like for like position. But even then it was just the lack of urgency to make that move. And I think that was also what was so frustrating, is that you saw the plan, you saw it on the sidelines, and yet somehow 3 minutes go by, 4, 5, you start heading into a 6 minute of this scenario. There are moments where the Spirit try to recycle the ball, and you see like Aubrey Kingsbury and Tara McCown kind of look over to the sideline like, oh, okay, like we still kind of have to kill this off. Why? Because you're allowing Hal Hirschfeld to go through a second and third stress test. You have to make that call as a coach. And in fairness to Adrian, in complete fairness to Adrian, everything about that scenario he was taking full accountability for in the post games. He was like, we lost this game. I didn't make the call, and like that, does that take away the sting? I don't know. Ask the players, but you're in that role for a reason. They gave you the reins of this team because they believed you can do what you did, which was get them to a final and hopefully win it. But you have to make those calls in between, and coaches, that's where you find out who's really made of what's what, I think, in NWSL coaching, because no one, even in those moments, wants to be that bad guy or take away those moments from their players. But it's like there's a bigger goal here at stake, and unfortunately they're going to be thinking about that moment for a while.
It's the nature of the game, babe. It's the nature of the game. It's tough. But let's give a shout out to Rose Lavelle, winning MVP. The second oldest player to win it since, shout out to J-Mac, who won it in 2018, game of her life. Shout out to our friend, our A3 sister. But I thought Rose was so good. I mean, the roles that I think that watching her take throughout the season, coming back from rehab to then getting minutes, scoring goals, looking confident, connecting the lines, looking like OG vintage Rose Lavelle. Playoffs was shut down just a little bit. But then in this game, she shows up when she's needed, where the team needs her. She's a leader, so humble, coming up and finishing that in that moment. It was clutch. She's clutch. She's like poetry in motion watching her play. I love it.
The thing about Rose is you're not going to get a lot of minutes from her out of the season. You're not going to get a lot of consistent appearances and performance from her. She's always going to have an up and down season in availability. But the thing about Rose is when the moment matters, she will rise. She will be there. She is a winner through and through. The big moments don't scare her. If you know her personality at all, she takes life with a grain of salt, but she takes football very seriously. And it's a perfect combination for her to execute and stay calm in those moments and really have a big game when it matters.
She looked ready, and she was ready. Speaking of her, 2 days ahead, 1 day ahead of the game, that's what I mean, where I'm just like, you had players who know how to have fun, know how to keep it loose, but still understand that assignment and keep it focused. And Rose Lavelle was one of those players. And we have like a record. We have receipts in front of us now at this point where Rose Lavelle gets to a high stakes playoff match and she goes into sicko mode.
Yes.
We saw how she did that for the Reign in 2023. Last year's semifinal for Gotham as well had an incredible performance. And when you needed that player to step up in a big moment, it should be, unsurprising to any of us that it ends up being Rose Lavelle. And she said, she was just like, this is literally what you play for. Like I asked her, like, what is it about these moments where you just go into like a complete psycho state. And she's just like, yeah, because why not? Like this is the moment that you play for, and this is where you want to achieve all these things, and you want it for yourself, of course, but more than anything, when you come off of the season that Gotham had, you want it for your teammates as well. So it's on .com. Y'all could read it. You don't even hear me yap about it.
Shout out, Sandra. It's on .com. Someone else I want to shout out, Emily Sonnett. Emily Sonnett. Guys, the superhero jump anticipation. She jumped before Lacey Santos shot the ball, mind you. Put her body sideways, put her hands behind her back, blocked the shot. Spirit, when this was happening, we were all like, oh. That, to me, those are the moments those moments for Gotham. I think we've seen Ann Katchenberger have them. Sonnett's had them all season. The last ditch tackle, the moment where it's life and limb on the line, you see a player throwing themselves just to defend, to block a shot, to get that last touch. That's a championship mindset. That's a championship team where I was like, oh, they're not losing. They won this. If
Psycho Sonny.
And you don't want to run through a wall after you see that, shout out to her. Most underrated player on the team for me.
Sonnett, I could talk about her for ages. And you know what? That's not just on the day. She does it at training too. You should see her and I at training. We're both psychopaths that go at it. We slide and block everything. We get up and shout. Like, we're both that kind of player. But Psycho Sonny is the same kind of person. She rises in big moments. But for me, what led to that was when that cross came in from Kawasi and Croy touched it. I think she either should have feinted it or dummied it, because actually that little flick kind of set Santos off, where she was approaching the ball and could have banged that first time. But that little flick gave Sonnett a little bit more time to anticipate and get her body in position to block. But I think Sonnett would have bit at Croy if she dummied it like she was going to shoot or feint, and then Santos would have been a little bit more open. But Sonnett, you're exactly right, Sandra. She's 2 steps ahead of everybody, and she's willing to put her body on the line and do whatever it takes to win. I love me some Psycho Sonny.
We didn't know where this game was. We didn't really know where this game was headed because it didn't have a goal, until after the 70th minute, and just a little bit of insider stuff. Like, we in the media attending the game do get the opportunity to vote for the championship MVP, and they start handing out these pieces of paper, and we're like, okay, so I guess right now at this minute it's a defender, right? And names were getting tossed around, like maybe Esme Morgan, like maybe Tara McCann, like maybe Emily Sonnett. Like, if this game goes to pens, like, who is the actual MVP of 90 minutes, 120 plus? And it was trending that way, but you end up giving it to the one who wins it, and it's Rose Lavelle.